Hey everyone, it is Brian Kaz here. I'm joined by my friend and business partner Sean Casey. We have another exciting call for you this week on about how to create your own product, and we'll get going with that in just a minute here. If you're new to these weekly calls, I know a lot of you are returning members and whatnot, but if you are new, just as a side note, if you have any questions or anything like that at all, you can feel free to type those into the little chat box, and we'll either Sean or Sharon will basically answer you via chat, or at the very end we'll do some live Q&A and such too. So obviously I'll try not to pause every minute to basically answer every question live in in the middle of the talk, just to make it flow a little better. So you'll get some good training and such. Then we'll move on to the Q&A, where we'll answer basically your questions and such live, but feel free to type those in ahead of time. And on top of that, like most of you know, on this call you'll get a chance to win $100 cash. So each week we give $100 away, and to partake in that, well, I'll explain that in just a bit right here. I'll give you a special link in a few moments of where you can sign up, and we'll get the show on the road in a few seconds right here. All right, guys, so let's get the show on the road officially here. All right. So once again, welcome to the Wednesday webinar training. This week, again, will be all about how to create your own product. So whether you don't have anything right now or you have one right now, I guarantee you'll be able to learn some pretty cool stuff, and hopefully get some ideas on whether how to create your own product from scratch, or how to even help an existing product that you might have to help bring that to the next level and whatnot. So again, these calls are every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, where we'll host a live training and/or Q&A call. If you're here or you're registered for this series, you'll get a reminder each week so you don't forget. But if you can't make one, we'll have the recordings in the members area within a day of any of the calls under the training tab on the left side navigation bar. So I have a quick question I want to ask you guys to start with. You can either type a 1 or 2 in the chat box, and the question's simple. Do you have a product or service of your own right now? Type in 1 if so, or 2 if not. So do you have a product or service of your own, or something to sell, even if you're reselling an existing product, or you're drop shipping or anything like that? That would still be a 1. So if you have any product or service that you sell now, type in 1. If you don't, type in 2. All right. So it looks like there's a decent mix there. There's still quite a few that don't have a product, and that's okay. And there's some that do. So in this call, this will help you learn how to either make one from scratch, or again add more products or services to your existing line. And again, as I said earlier, you'll have a chance to win $100 on the call today. And what we basically do is Sharon will have a post up on our Facebook group, which is free to join. If you're not a member yet, you can go to that link right there, click on join, and she'll approve of you, usually within like a minute or two. She's very, very quick with that. And then at the end of this call, she'll have a post up basically asking what you thought of today's call. And if you leave a comment within her post there, we'll choose a random person there to give $100 via PayPal to on the spot. So to make it super easy, because we do a random drawing, try to make sure that the comment you do is within the post that she has there, and you can basically say anything that what you thought of today's call. So make sure, if you're not a member yet, to sign up at getwebfire.com/FB group, and we'll have that drawing at the end of this call, and I'll give you a reminder at the very end too. So you'll have plenty of time to leave those comments. So let's move on to our training for this week and how to create your own product. So there are really 3 main ways of having your own product. And the three types of products are, you can have a physical product, that's, could be basically anything that, like a lot of stuff on Amazon would be a physical product, like bikes, mopeds, furniture, TV, electronics, anything at all, toys. All those would be examples of physical products, but you can also have digital products like ebooks, videos, so on and so forth. And you can also have a variety of services, especially for like a lot of you would probably have an interest in web services, like how to help others with SEO or making videos, or anything like that would be considered a web service. So those are really the three main types of products, as I'm sure most of you are probably aware of. And there's really three options with each one. You can create the product or service yourself, which is great if you're an expert or you want to learn to be one, or if you're good at something, that's a great option right there. You can also get someone to make the product for you, and in just a bit I'll explain how this can all be done super, super easy. Or lastly, you can resell an existing product or service, and again I'll give you tons of examples and useful tips there. So I just want to explain those are the three ways, or the three kinds of products, and these are the three ways to basically get one of those products made. Now, if you create it yourself, you can be an expert on almost anything in a matter of hours using Google and YouTube. And as many of you probably know that deep down, a lot of you still think, well, I'm not an expert, I can never, create a video or write a book on this. That's kind of BS, because, I mean, you can learn almost anything you want on Google and YouTube. I actually know a guy that knew nothing about, like, how to, like, essentially tile floors or a shower or anything like that, and he actually built himself a very, very awesome bathroom from like the ground up, entirely watching YouTube videos. And it was real impressive, because this guy I know was determined to like renovate his bathroom, redo an entire shower, basically tile it all up really fancy and whatnot, and he never ever did anything like that in his entire life, but he wanted to basically do this as a hobby. I guess he thought that he'd have a lot of fun with that. Personally, I would just hire out, but to each their own. And he actually, I think in total it took him probably about like a week or so, but he said every day he'd spend a few hours on it. He'd watch some YouTube clips, and by the end of the week he was an expert, and he sure enough renovated his entire bathroom and installed a new shower with tiles and all that right there. So if someone can learn to do all that, surely you can read up on stuff and become an expert on almost anything that you want right there. And an example, one of the markets that I've been in is in the wedding and diamond niche. Now, at the time, I didn't know much about diamonds other than they can be expensive, but within a matter of a couple hours, I would probably be considered an expert on diamonds. I turned around and turned that into some products and services that I could sell based upon everything that I learned right there. Videos are also super easy to make by recording PowerPoint slides just like this, using screen recorders like Camtasia or CamStudio. Camtasia I actually prefer a little bit more. Now, it is paid, so I think on a Mac it costs like $100. On Windows it might even be like twice that or so. I'm not quite sure of the exact cost. So it's not dirt cheap, but it's not terribly expensive. Whereas CamStudio is actually free. Does a lot of the same stuff. I just find it slightly harder to use, has less features and stuff, but can get the job done. And it's free, of course, which is always nice right there. So super easy to make a video or make an ebook, and it doesn't have to be fancy at all. A couple tips if you create a product yourself is you want to solve specific problems that you address clearly. You want to make it also super easy to follow, and you can also create small side ebooks, videos, or videos and such to distribute across the net to grab extra traffic and leads. So once you create your main product, you can create a bunch of small mini ones that you submit out there online in hopes of grabbing additional traffic and leads to kind of feed into your system right here. But again, not terribly hard to get such products made yourself. But what I like to often do is, instead of making stuff myself and spending time, I like to get someone else to make the product. And this is super easy to hire writers off of sites like Craigslist, Gumtree, or any relevant forum. I'm sure probably over half of you on this call might not know what Gumtree is. Some might not know what Craigslist is. So basically, Craigslist is like a big classified ad site that's very big in the U.S., not as big in some other places overseas, whereas Gumtree is much larger in some places like Australia, the UK, so on and so forth, but not really all that known in the US. So obviously pick the one where you're located, and you can find lots of writers and stuff to help there. You can also find forums related to any topic that you want and hire guys off of that oftentimes are happy to accept even a small amount of money to take not that much of their time and create some pretty killer products at times. You can also, now as a side note with this too, I actually know a guy who created a product on diabetes. He didn't know, I mean, he obviously knew a little bit about it to start with.
Hey Brian,
yeah?
Are you flipping through slides yet?
Yeah, is it not showing?
Not for me and not for somebody else that just asked a question. I wasn't sure initially when you were talking about tiling the bathroom, but
let me pause and restart that real quick. That's weird. Just exit out. Do you see the screens now? When I
see. Wow, that's really cool. You have slides.
All right, so it changes now. All right. So again, I'll just zip through the slides really quick. So again, three main types of products: physical, digital, and service. 3 options for each one, which I talked about. Again, you can create it yourself. You can get another person to make it, or you can resell an existing one. And again, we talked about how to create it yourself right there. And that brings us to where we're currently at right here. So I apologize for that. Not quite sure what happened there. But as I was saying, I have a friend who wanted to create a product in the diabetes niche, but he didn't want to take all the time to research that. And with that too, he didn't feel like he had necessarily like the credibility to write a really good report or create a video on it. So what he basically did, he just hired an existing expert on diabetes. It was a nurse that specialized in that, and he paid her, I think it was like $50 or so, to create like an hour-long video on tips and stuff about how to deal with diabetes. And he actually went on to make a lot of dough off that. In fact, if memory serves, I think it was over like $100 grand that he made. And then later he of course went back, and she made more than one video, and I think he paid her a bit more. It may have been like $100 after that then. But he made a series of trainings and videos and such, all helping with basically diabetes. And he wasn't an expert himself. He just hired someone that was. Another trick that you can do with that is you can even interview experts and turn it into an interview and turn that into a paid product. Some are willing to do this for free. They just like to get their name, their brand, and they just like to talk and be known as experts. Well, others you can offer $50 to $100 or so for, because again, it's in exchange for very little of their time. I mean, most of these interviews people can whip out in 20 to 30 minutes or less. In some cases, a lot less. Or you can send them like a list of questions that people don't even have to jump on a phone. They can just answer via email and whip out super fast. So $50 to $100 to them could be like, wow, this is easy money, just repeating what they know. If it's a video or like a recording, you can even transcribe it for dirt cheap. You can go to Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, and there's people that will transcribe stuff for like, $5. Some might be like $5 for X amount of minutes or so, but still relatively cheap. You can also, again, of course, as I said, hire an expert to write a report or record a video. So if you don't want to do the interview, which is super easy and takes up barely none of their time, you can go a step further and hire the expert to, again, write a report or make a video. Now, there's a few resources that are super cool in terms of finding these guys out there. One is expertisefinder.com, and there's a lot of different sites like this. This is just one, where you basically type in the niche or keyword that you're trying to find experts in, and it will show you the experts. And it'll give you their contact info and all that right there. So you can reach out to them. And a lot of these guys have their contact info out there because they're oftentimes willing to do interviews and stuff like that. And you know, you can certainly reach out to them to do an interview there. Or, of course, you can reach out to them and see if they'd be interested in possibly you know, writing a report or making a video or doing you know, a larger interview where you basically pay them. So you can create a product literally with a minute or two of your time by basically just asking them, hey, are you willing to do this right here? Or having, like, you know, a bunch of questions like, hey, what's you know, what's the first thing that you should do once you have diabetes? You know, what are the best foods to have? What are the best foods to avoid? What are some exercises? What's some way to, you know, whatever you think the problems or, you know, issues essentially are, you can ask them all that ahead of time and create a pretty nifty little product pretty quickly. You can also look on Q&A sites like Quora.com, Yahoo Answers, which is just answers.yahoo.com, and you can ask questions out there, and oftentimes experts will come to you, and then you can follow up with those guys and see if you'd be able to make a deal with them. You can also even just post ads on classified sites like, again, Craigslist and Gumtree and such to find them as well. So it's super easy to hire experts, and a lot of people think that, like, you know, wow, you'll have to pay thousands of dollars to get these guys to make stuff, and that's just simply not the case. Just because a person's an expert on a certain topic doesn't mean that they're filthy rich. You can have an expert on diabetes that doesn't make that much dough, okay? So again, $50 or $100 for 20 minutes of their time, or even an hour of their time, they might think you're the best person on this planet for, you know, letting them basically talk about stuff that they already know and walk away getting paid on that. And it's a win for you because you can turn around and have a product instantly that's, again, unique to you. And the third way, of course, is you can resell existing products or services. It's super easy to resell existing products or services or spruce them up. It's not like you have to sell it exactly as is. Now, if you find a service, let's say you find a writing service, okay, like they write articles or they do SEO or, you know, anything like that, you can spruce them up by saying, hey, if there's a writer that writes blog posts, see what they might charge to write maybe 5 blog posts and create a blog for you at the same time. You can create blogs, again, very quickly using sites like blogger.com, so on and so forth. Or you can combine it with other services like, hey, have a writer write 5 blog posts, have another person make a blog, and another person do some custom graphics. Combine those together and you have a super awesome package. And again, you can find guys on places like Fiverr.com for $5. And when you combine those up, you can have massive value, charge a lot more. Instead of charging maybe, you know, $25 or so, you could charge hundreds of dollars or even $1,000 or more without really doing any more work yourself at all, and without really increasing your raw cost all that much. So you can have huge margins of profit doing that right there. Now, for physical products, a couple sites that are real important here. One is AliExpress.com. It's kind of like a sister site of Alibaba. But AliExpress I actually like more because it's super easy to start with, and a lot of the products there, they allow you to basically drop ship. And oftentimes they include free shipping with that. And if it's not free, it's usually dirt cheap to almost anywhere in the world. So if you want to sell, let's say, massage chairs, or you want to sell cat toys, or you want to sell bumper balls, or you want to sell a standing desk or anything like that, you can. I mean, literally type in any product you want to sell there, and you can find places that will drop ship for you. So literally super awesome right there. And then of course it just comes down to driving traffic to your offer, throwing the offer up on a store. If you don't have a store yet, one service that you could use is a service like Shopify, where you can create like a simple store and start to sell almost overnight. And then of course you could use a service or tools like Webfire to help you drive traffic to it, find leads that are interested or looking for such products. Or you can also, again, do like Facebook ads and drive traffic anywhere that you want. I'll show an example about how to do research here and find some pretty killer offers and products there in just a bit. I'll actually do like a live walkthrough in a couple moments here. Now, the other site, which again is like, again, these are like sister sites, is Alibaba.com. This can sometimes be cheaper, which is nice, but it requires larger purchases most often, and it oftentimes requires you to hold inventory and stuff. So, let's say that you use AliExpress and you're selling, I don't know, let's say you're selling a necklace, okay? And let's say the necklace costs you $1 or $2, and you sell it for 20. That's good profit right to there. And they ship it and everything for free. But let's say you sell it for $2 and you're like, wow, I'm selling a lot of these, I'm making a lot of dough off of it. But it looks like on Alibaba they might have it for even less. Maybe you can save $1 or $2 off of every necklace if you buy it in bulk. So if you want to go through the hassle of all that, you certainly can, and you can save some extra dough. But it's very rare that I recommend buying like a lot at once, just because it's risky. Sean and I have been in a handful of markets, and we, for a lot of them, we'll just use AliExpress because it's super easy. Only occasionally, if we're selling like a ton of stuff, will we go through the trouble of like basically, try and basically order stuff in bulk, have it stored at like a warehouse. But that's really kind of like, I wouldn't worry about that if you're starting out, because that's, again, a lot of extra hassle when you can just, again, go to AliExpress and get it basically drop shipped and get shipping and everything included in that, and not have to worry about any warehouses or anything like that. And again, I'll show some examples.
Hey Brian, let me jump in for 1 second
Sure.
on that, real quick. Guys, one of the things about AliExpress is even when we're like, oh, this is going to be killer, we're going to sell 1 billion of these, we always test everything we do that's possible to do the easiest possible way. So if you're like, wow, I love light up dog collars, I think that I'm going to sell 1 million of these, and I really want to get them here, and I want to have like 2-day delivery to my customers, and I'm going to do all this great stuff, but you never actually sold one yet. Well, which do you think is smarter? Testing selling them and having them drop ship from China one at a time as you sell them, where it's super easy to do, or to go buy 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 of these, wait 2 or 3 weeks till they get delivered to you from China, put them in your warehouse, and then figure out if you can sell them. And if you can't, you have a couple thousand of these in a warehouse. I mean, clearly the first scenario is better, to be able to just immediately be like, I have a great idea, let's go test this and see what happens. Right? Boom. You test it, you find out you're a dog collar selling fool, you are the greatest dog collar seller in the world, and now you're like, okay, I'd like to buy some of these and put them in a warehouse and all that stuff. Really easy to do later on, but you can immediately set up and test anything you want to off of AliExpress. Super easy, and we highly recommend you do it that way first, not buy thousands of something with the idea that this is the greatest idea ever, and then find out you can't sell them. All right, Brian, go ahead.
Yep. So yeah, and that's a great tip there. And again, like I'd say for like 99% of you, you'll probably only deal with AliExpress as like the smart thing. But if you in the future find something that works well, then Alibaba might be a good thing to basically look at. Or if, let's say, you want to list stuff on Amazon, Amazon lets you ship a lot of stuff to them, and you can have them ship everything for you and whatnot. So if you find, let's say there's a lot of buyers on AliExpress and they're basically buying your stuff left and right, if you want to test out listing it on Amazon and test out having Amazon handle the shipping and the distribution and everything for you, that might be a great alternative to buy some stuff off Alibaba in that case. And I'll show some live examples of that in just a bit. Now, for digital products and services, there's a few other sites or resources that would be useful for you. For services, Fiverr.com is really good. Again, Fiverr.com. There's lots of people, again, sell almost anything you can think of for $5, including lots of services, whether it be SEO, making videos, doing animations, making blogs, making graphics. I mean, pretty much anything you can think of, you can find guys that will do right there. So you can find a lot of services that you can kind of spruce up using the advice I gave you prior and turn into a pretty nifty thing. And just to kind of hit home on that, the difference between a $5 product or service and a $100 service really isn't all that much. It's just the more done for you, the more hands-free you make the service, the more likely you're able to charge more. And the difference between a $100 service and a $1,000 service does not have to be all that much. It's just the few additional things that you can do for them makes them more likely to basically buy from you. For instance, if I went to, let's say, any of you guys or a local business or basically anyone and said, hey, how do you like to buy an article from me for $10? It'd be very hard to sell that. I might get a couple buyers that are like, yeah, you know, I heard I kind of need some articles out there and yada yada. You know, you might get a handful of guys, and if your cost is $5 and you charge 10, you make $5, which isn't the end of the world, but it's a lot of work for not really a lot of profit. Whereas if you went to a local business, or if I went to you guys and said, hey, who here would like a done for you blog with like 5 or 10 blog posts that are SEO optimized for your keywords. You'll have custom graphics, and you'll also have the blog post, you know, submitted to, you know, article sites, and you know, just a whole bunch of stuff like that. You could easily charge $500 to $1,000, and people would think that would be a sweet deal. Now, the raw cost of that, in that case, might be, you know, maybe $30 to $50 tops for what you could charge $500 to $1,000. So your margin of profit is huge, and you're doing like almost the exact same amount of work, but you're making a lot more dough. And the killer part here is that people are more likely to want that than the simple article because it's more hands-free. So if you're trying to sell the lower price then that doesn't really include much, it's harder to make that sale. Less people truly want that. And you're not really making a lot of dough for your time. Whereas on the other end, you're making a ton of dough without really having to do that much more work at all, and people want it more. So it really is a win-win there. And of course, you know, it's not just Fiverr where you can find services for sale that you know, you can turn around and resell yourself. There's classified sites. You can search on forums. The Warrior Forum has a separate section in the forum specifically just for people selling services. They'll list off their services and such, and you can see, like, you know, what the reviews are, if people like them. You can see if they're lacking like social proof or they have a lot of them, and oftentimes sellers on these places might have a lot of really good reviews, but they'll do a crappy job, you know, of selling in terms of like, you know, they won't do the hands-free done-for-you package, or, you know, they'll have the cheap service and not the high-end one, which you could easily turn around and sell at high-end price with the right pitch and such. Now, as for digital products instead of services like, you know, ebooks and videos and such, you can search Google for PLR and then basically any niche, or keyword, or white label followed by any niche that you're in, to find tons of existing products to start with. Now, PLR stands for private label rights, and that basically are products that you have the rights to sell and keep 100% of the money from. It also gives you the right, you know, oftentimes to kind of you know, you oftentimes have the right to even change up stuff. So if you want to change around the title or the content or anything like that, that's fine. White label, kind of along the same lines. Sometimes they might not allow you to change stuff on a white label. They sometimes do, but PLR usually means you can do anything you want with it. White label usually means you can, you know, sell it in your own name or rename the product and such. And you can get anything from ebooks and videos to software and all sorts of things. And a lot of these you can get quite cheap. Now, just as a warning, you always want to kind of make sure that if you're buying, like let's say you buy a guide on how to market on YouTube, okay? You want to make sure that if it's not a recent guide that's not like brand new, you want to make sure that you go through the guide yourself and make sure that nothing's maybe changed on YouTube. Like it might say, first you want to click here, then you want to click there, and YouTube may have changed basically the layout, so you want to make sure that it lines up with what it's basically saying. So just read through it real quick, make sure it all looks good and well. Occasionally, you might be required to make some minor updates or edits just to make it more new or updated. But obviously, it can save a lot of time versus making one from scratch yourself, and can sometimes even save a lot of money compared to hiring a guy to write a product like that for you from scratch. And oftentimes these will come with like a sales page and stuff too, so it can save you even more time right there. So what I'll do now is I'll just pause my screen for a second, and I'll show some live examples about how easy this can really be to kind of show you some of the resources and tools that I basically talked about. I'll show off a few things live right here. So I'm just going to pause the screen for a second. And all right. Bring up the screen now. All right, there we go. So one of the first sites that I talked about was expertisefinder.com. That's where you could find guys if you want to do like an interview with it, you can turn it into a paid product, or if you want to see if you could hire them and turn it into something later, like a product that you could sell. So in this case, let's say you want to have a product on diabetes. You could type in a keyword like diabetes right here, click search, and look, we find all these experts on diabetes. And you can see like some are like quite good. Like here's one, looks like he's from Yale. He specializes in diabetes, and you see all sorts of guys like that. Let's just click on the first guy. You see right here, you see the contact info, you see the number. So very easy to get a hold of these guys. They give a little bit of background about them right there, so you can kind of see if they're matched up to what you think would be a good match based upon what you're basically looking for. Like if you, let's say you wanted to have a product on type 1 or type 2, you could find a specialist on just that right there to create basically the product for you right there, and you could do the interview, or you could pay them to create a short report or video, or even pay them for a short interview if anything like that, and that can work quite well right there. And this works for literally anything that you could possibly think of. I mean, even like let's say you want to do like a weight loss product. I'll just do weight loss, and boom, here's all these experts on weight loss that you can contact. So pretty much anything that you could think of, you could probably find an expert for within reason right here. So that's kind of cool right there, and a useful little feature right there. Now, as far as services and stuff, one site that's really useful is Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. This is where you can find guys to do all sorts of things for $5. And basically, if you have any idea of what you want to search for, you type it in right there. So let's say you think, hey, I see a lot of guys selling custom, videos or whiteboard animations, or anything like that. You could find guys like, let's do animated video. We'll click search, and here's guys that create videos and such. And you can see a whole breakdown. Like here's some that start at $5 right here. Here's some that are a bit more expensive and such. And you can kind of go through and see like what might be a good fit for you. And there's some that might be like, you know, here's a bunch at $5 right there. There's some more expensive ones too, of course. And like here's one, a whiteboard animation for $5 right there. So oftentimes, if you're like an offline business, or even if you're an online one, and you know a lot of these people aren't familiar with resources like this, the cost of a whiteboard video in the eyes of a lot of people would be thousands of dollars. Okay, so even if you spend more than $5, or even if they're like, you know, $5 for a minute or 30 seconds or anything like that, if you create a 4 or 5 minute long video, that's not terribly expensive, and you have the perceived value possibly being worth thousands of dollars. So if you had a charge of $500, you might be viewed as the dirt cheap video guy, even though you're basically banking a lot of dough off that. So you know, and if you want to resell these services, there's a few ways you could go about it. One, you could just, again, resell it yourself, where people pay you and then you hire these guys. What I like to oftentimes do, which should be even better, is try to get as much social proof as possible to sell your guy. So what you can do is you can reach out to some of these sellers and say, hey, I'm looking to basically offer a video service as part of my set of services and such. I was looking to see if I could use you to be my video maker guy, and if so, would you be willing to allow me to use you know, your testimonials or your examples as my social proof? And oftentimes these guys will of course say yes, because you know it's a win-win for them, and it's a win for you because you get the social proof and examples without having to do anything. Now, if you also wanted completely unique, you know, examples, just hire them to make a couple examples for you, and boom, you have your own examples there for like $5 each. You can also see the reviews. So like, you know, here's one at 5 out of 5 stars, and he has 218 of those reviews right there. So that's obviously you know, a pretty nice service right there to use. And if you click on any of these, of course, it'll give you some detailed info that you can check out and such. And yes, yeah, so you can kind of go through right there. You can read about what the exact offer is. And again, oftentimes a lot of these guys might not do the best jobs of selling, so you can spruce up an offer and sell even more at higher price points and such too. So for some of these, you won't have to do anything. But for others, you can also, like, if there's a guy that sells SEO, you can combine it with maybe a writer and a blog maker and a graphic offer and create a killer offer that could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars for a single sale right there. So that's, and again, it doesn't just have to be videos. It can be for almost anything you could possibly dream of or want right there. The other example that I want to show off is AliExpress. So this is one where if you want to sell a physical product, but you don't want to obviously make anything yourself, you can find all sorts of products here where you don't even have to have the inventory. You just basically have them drop ship straight to your buyers. So in this case, let's say you want to sell necklaces. I can type in necklace, do a search, and we see tons and tons of necklaces. And again, I mean, there's literally tons and tons and tons and tons of them. You can also, if you want to sort by, like, you know, free shipping, you can click that. If you want to sort by like really good reviews, you can click that, and it'll sort through all that stuff. And you see, again, lots and lots of necklaces. Some will be quite cheap. Like here's some, again, $3 right there, and that includes the shipping. Okay, so it's not like the product's just $3. It's $3 for the product, and it ships for free, which again is huge right there. You see all sorts of cool ones right there. Like here's one. Here's essentially an elephant necklace for about $1. So that's probably quite good right there. Yeah, so you get an example of stuff that you can see right there. And you can also, again, like if there's like certain certain styles that you want to look for. Again, you can give like a more specific example too. You can also, again, sort by, all sorts of different options right there. Let's do another example.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
And also in the upper right-hand side where you see the little American flag, if you can just point that out to them where it says ship to, before you guys search, you switch to your country and currency, because then you won't be like, oh, this is in American dollars to the U.S. You can switch that to the U.K. or many other countries.
Yep, that's a great point right there too. So if you're in the UK or Australia or wherever you might be, you can easily use that and see what the prices would be there as well right there. Let's do another search. Let's do, instead of necklace, let's do cat toy. And you can see all sorts of cat toys. Like here's a cat toy for less than $1, and that includes the shipping, guys. Here's like, this is like, it looks like essentially like a tunnel. It can ship and all that for a total of $10, where that's the type of product that people might think, oh, that might be a $30 to $50 offer right there. But again, you can get that all for $10, including the shipping. Yeah, so there's lots and lots of offers there. Including, yeah, so some pretty cool things right there. And what's neat here is you can also see the reviews and the amount of orders and such. So here's a cat toy right here. Looks like it's some balls that probably roll around there. They have 5 stars for about $5 to $7 right there, and they have almost 5,000 orders. Or here's a laser, a laser that looks like it's the shape of a mouse for about $1 or a bit over $1. Lots of people have bought that, it looks like. And that includes the shipping. So it's the laser plus shipping. In this case, is $1.38. So a pretty good deal right there that you could probably turn around and make a decent profit on right there. And again, you can sort through and get as like specific as you want right there. And again, all sorts of things that you can search by. And also, if you click on the orders, so if you sort by basically the number of orders, you can see what the most popular ones are. So I click that right there, and instead of having the best match, it will show the most popular ones. And right here, here's a cat toy. It looks like it's a flower with like a butterfly attached to it. It's like a electric rotating toy, so it looks like a butterfly flies around. To order that toy, an electronic toy, plus shipping is only $1.74, okay? And look at this, almost 14,000 people have ordered that, okay? That tells you what? That's probably a popular toy. We'll see, hey look, the cat laser, almost 6,000 orders. That's probably a popular order. Here's one, over 6,000 orders right there. It's looks like a stick that they chew on. A five-piece cat cleaning teeth catnip then. So you get a 5-piece set for 81 cents, including the shipping. Okay, you can turn around and resell these for a lot more. You can add these on your store, and again, do almost anything that you want. And let's just go back to we'll do jewelry as a whole. Let's just see what some of the most popular ones might be there. So let's do, in this case, we'll go back to the necklaces and pendants, and let's sort by the number of orders. Again, so we see right here, look at this, 17,000 orders for this, 80 cents. 30 to 40 cents right here, 44,000 orders. Here's one, 35 cents including shipping. So they make the product, it looks like it's a choker with the pendant. They have the product made and shipped to you for 35 cents a piece, almost 55,000 orders right there. So there's some popular products and stuff right there, and you get an idea of easily what sells and what does not. Here's a moon charm right here. Again, $1.50 a piece, over 10,000 orders right there. And again, anything you could possibly dream of, you could search for, and find in here. I mean, even like, let's do moped. oh, that probably have to be more specific than that and look for a certain kind, because there's like a bunch of batteries and stuff there. But you know, again, you could search through a lot of stuff there. And here's like electric bikes. You see a lot of ones right here. You can get some again good deals where they'll again ship these in. Like ones like this. Like here's one looks like for about $8.50. They'll ship these too. There's a electric bike store several miles away from me, and you know, most of the bikes that they have again are usually in the 2 to 3K range right there, and I don't even think that includes shipping to your door or anything like that. So yeah, so just keep that in mind right there, and literally anything you can think of, you can find examples of. Like I just searched for candle right there, and we see all sorts of examples of cool candles. This, by the way, guys, this right here, it's funny that I actually see that here. These are like super fun and super annoying at the same time. I actually got one for my daughter years ago. You basically light it, and it's like a candle that spreads open, and it plays music. And you can find those at a store, usually for like, stores sell them, I think like $8 to $10 or so. Here, you can have them for 90 cents, and that includes the shipping. What's really cool is that these are really, really neat. They can go kind of viral if you show it in like a video. It's really awesome. Although the experience I had with one was it continues to play, and it never shuts up. And at one point, I actually purposely essentially broke it, and it was still somehow playing inside. And even like I think like three weeks later, we actually heard it, you know, in the garbage outside. So funny little tidbit about that. I never thought I'd see that again right there. But yeah, so really cool stuff that you can find all over. And again, anything you can think of, you can pretty much find here, and basically make a Shopify store or anything else that you want, and start to sell those right there. So pretty cool walkthrough on that, guys. I'm just going to pause the screen as I go on back to the PowerPoint. And with that, guys, we'll turn to the Q&A. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask those now. And Sean's actually about to jump on this call because I had to leave for an appointment a little early. So he'll actually handle the Q&A part, and will also give some cash away as well. To take advantage of the cash, or to have a chance to win $100, what you want to do, you want to go to our Facebook group page right here, getwebfire.com/FB group. If you're not a member yet, it is free. Sharon will accept you in probably like a minute or less now. Join, and she'll have a post up basically asking what you thought of today's call. If you leave a comment within that post, so try to make sure you leave a comment within the post instead of, you know, somewhere else on that page. Makes it way easier to account. Leave a comment on that post right there that she has. Just let us know what you thought, and we'll pick a random winner in probably 5 or 10 minutes time after the Q&A, and give $100 away live on this call right here. So with that, we'll turn over to the Q&A. Sean, if you want to make yourself the presenter, you can take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Let me just grab back over there. I'm trying to type and talk and do too many things at once beyond my level of capabilities. Make me the presenter. Let's see. Yes, show my screen. Okay, there I am. All right, let's dump the questions back out of the way of the screen, and away we go. Okay, so I've answered most of your questions except for the questions that just popped in. When you get to the Facebook group, this post right here, that not the pin post, the post underneath that says, "Isn't this really awesome?" Well, okay, somewhere here is the actual post that you should post underneath. Hang on, let me refresh the page. that one right there that says who loved today's webinar, and post your comments underneath there, and that'll be awesome. And let me fix the GoToWebinar widget that never wants to work right when I shrink it up and answer a couple of questions. Hey, David, just email support. They'll help you with that question, support@webfire.com, and they'll fix that. So Andrew asked, can you put in a YouTube video address, the URL of the video, to optimize that as you would a website? No, not exactly, because you can't change, the tags in the actual HTML of the page. But we actually do have training on the best way to rank YouTube videos. So, for instance, you could do keyword research in WebFire, and by doing keyword research, you'd know, oh, here's the best keywords I should go after. And there's some other tips and tricks on how to best rank YouTube videos. Just look in the WebFire training, and you'll see a bunch of things on that and be able to access that. Do we recommend using press releases to help local business owner get business? Yes, they can be really highly effective, and it depends upon the business and what they're doing. But press releases can be effective, and they can be really impressive to a business owner if you do them right, where you can get them to show up, on Google, because Google will a lot of times pull them in when they're brand new news. But one of the things you've got to do to have them, get to work well is to write them, obviously, in a format that is like there's actual news, not, hey, I have a really cool store and you guys should visit my store because I had to write a press release, right? I mean, it needs to be couched and written in a language that makes it sound like you're announcing something new, improved, a sale, a contest, something that gives people a reason to respond to that, okay? Let's see what else we've got here. Okay, Marie, I'm not sure of your question unless you're answering somebody else's, something that Sharon was asking you. All right, good. So Patricia asks, can you recommend what tools for researching if a product will sell or not? Okay, so the answer to that is, like when you just looked on AliExpress, for example, you could look at AliExpress and you could see that somebody bought 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 of something. So that's a good clue that people have bought thousands of products. And a lot of those vendors that are the top vendors for specific products, especially the low-price products on AliExpress, are selling thousands more of those products that you're not seeing because they're not getting sold through AliExpress. Like some of the stuff that we sell that's drop shipped from China, we don't even buy through AliExpress as individual orders. We literally just email the spreadsheet of all the orders over to the vendor after we test them out. One of the things we do, so let's say you're going to sell 100 cat toys today, right? You don't want to fool around putting the orders in, or you don't even want to necessarily try to automate, because there's some plugins you can use to automate the order process. We literally just export the orders every morning, dump them into in a spreadsheet, like a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, and just literally export them, send the spreadsheet over to the vendor. The next day we get back the spreadsheet with all the info and everything else, and if we had 100 cat toys, we just shoot them the money for the 100 cat toys and it's all done. So a lot of those vendors have sold even more products than the numbers that you see, where those are all individual orders that have been placed. So that's a big clue. Or on Amazon, to look at what's in the bestsellers rank for any specific category. If people are already buying stuff or similar stuff that you're looking at, then it's a good clue that people are going to continue to buy those kind of things. Obviously, everybody would like to be the first person to find the new thing that becomes the hot thing that everybody buys, like a fidget spinner, right? Wouldn't you like to be the first guy that had a fidget spinner? But it's always hard to predict those trends. But somebody was asking me, like, what if something sells better in the US or the UK or whatever? You can't overthink this, because the ability to test selling something off AliExpress is so simple, right? You put up the promotion and you see if people buy it and it works, and if it doesn't work, great. You just dump it and go on to the next one, because you don't have to buy the product or anything else in advance to be able to do that, okay? What does AliExpress mean by dropship? Dropshipping is where someone sends the product directly to a third party. So, Jim Smith in Chicago, Illinois buys a product from me. I put Jim Smith's info into the AliExpress order information, and Jim Smith gets his product shipped directly from AliExpress vendor to Jim Smith. So I never touch it, don't warehouse it, don't ship it, doesn't come to me, goes direct to the customer. Okay, so that was easy. How do you pay AliExpress? You pay AliExpress every time you put an order in. So you just every time you put an order, add whatever the orders are to your shopping cart in AliExpress for the different products. You just go in and then you have a credit card on file with them, and they just charge your credit card whenever you place an order. So that's fine. All right, so David asked, if you use AliExpress, do they have a right to market to your customer? They would have a right to market to your customer, but they're not going to have your customer's email address because they're just going to have their name and shipping address. So they're really, from China, not going to be like sending a physical snail mail letter to your customer to try to get them to buy something that they're only selling for $2 or $3. So I've never actually worried about that. So, Salim, I'm not sure what you mean about what about keeping the supplier name from the AliExpress supplier. So, anywhere, you need to clarify that one for me. So Anthony asked, if you want to use Webfire to promote a service or product, which videos in the training library do you recommend? Well, the short answer is all of them. But if you would, but a better answer is that watch the quick start videos. I know we have a lot of new members that have come in recently. If you watch the quick start videos, that's going to shortcut you, like knowing which tools to go to based upon what you're actually trying to promote. And then the other place to look at is the Free Traffic Secrets course, because we broke that training course for you down into kind of, I'm trying to promote my own product, I'm trying to be an affiliate, I want to sell services to local businesses, and broke the training out kind of in the fashion that follows what you're trying to do. And if you're not sure where to find that, just pop an email to support and they'll get that to you, and you'll be able to do that. David asked, is it recommended to have your own Shopify page when advertising on Facebook, then direct the customers to there? I think by that you mean, do you promote the AliExpress page? No, you don't promote the AliExpress page. You promote your own page. You collect the money, charge whatever you want to for the product, shipping, handling, etc. You collect the money. After you collect the money, you place the order with AliExpress. So you're not sending them to AliExpress directly. You collect the money. They don't know that you're paying less for it. I mean, they obviously suspect you're paying less for it, just like when I go to the grocery store, I expect they're paying less for the food that I just bought than what I paid them because they need to be in business. But it's none of their business what you're paying for it or how you're getting it. So Tracy asks, is there shipping, quality, arrival good? Yes, it takes time. We always disclose to people that it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks to get your product right in the order page because we want to be fair with people. It's not going to be overnight delivery like Amazon has, but they're getting deals, and most of what we sell are kind of impulse buy things. So it's something that somebody didn't even necessarily go looking for, much less worry about all that. How did that? Oh, Salim, I mean, what if the customer finds out the source of the product? Well, they will, because they're going to get a package delivered from China. Truly, they don't care. I mean, they paid you whatever they paid you for it. They paid you $10 or £8 or whatever to get a cat toy. They got a cat toy. They open the package, the cat toy's in it. They're not sitting there going, wow, this came from China. Let me research this. Let me go find them. Because the product doesn't have the vendor's information in it in terms of, this is how to find me, and here's my shop, here's my AliExpress page or anything like that. These guys know, the people in China know they're drop shipping, okay, in lots of cases, because they know how the system works too. That's why they make it easy for you to be able to do that. Okay, Angela asks, if I want to rank a product like fitness mugs on Amazon, how should I go about that? That answer is really, really long, but there's a training video. If you just search for like Amazon or selling on Amazon, there's a training video we did on how to promote on Amazon that will give you like the really long answer and much better than I could do to be able to kind of do that. Somebody asked about warranties. Assuming you're talking about these products for warranties, you can, the vendors will stand behind their products. If you go read down into the fine print, you'll see right in there, like almost every vendor will say, hey, if you have any problem, contact us right away. We'll make the product good, or we'll fix stuff. Because, I mean, sometimes stuff gets lost in the mail, but we've never had a problem with any of the vendors we deal with because we only deal with vendors who've already made a lot of sales. We don't deal with some guy who's like, hey, I just started a company and I want to get a first customer. They're not who we're going to deal with. We're dealing with the people that already have thousands of customers, sold thousands of products, and you can see that and be able to do that with that. Okay. David, yes, you could do that. All right. AliExpress does not offer white label shipping. You could contact an individual vendor about that and ask them what they would charge you if you wanted something specific done that way. You could always go to a vendor and say to them, I'm going to be selling a lot of your product, and if I sell a lot of your product, can you do this for me? Can you change the shipping? Can you insert a piece of paper? You could just ask them what they would charge you to do that, but it's not a standard function because AliExpress really is just an e-commerce site. It just, because of the margin of cost of doing business and manufacturing in China versus other countries, then there's this, profit margin that's built into all this stuff. We're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes, guys. So if you want to post your comment on Facebook, please go do that. And if you applied to join the group because you're new, refresh the page because that way you'll be able to post and you'll be able to get your comment in there, and we'll draw, or actually sort through to give away the money in just a minute. Somebody asked, is fulfillment expensive with Amazon? If you go to Amazon's site, you can look up like what's the cost of fulfillment on Amazon. For Amazon, it's partly a function of if they're just processing the order or if you're going to warehouse your products with Amazon and have them ship them. But it's not an expensive per unit cost unless, of course, you have stuff that's big and weighs a lot, right? Like if you're going to warehouse a desk with Amazon, that's a whole different conversation in terms of cost and everything else than if you're warehousing like an iPhone cord. Okay, so that's really going to vary a lot in terms of what you're able to do. Somebody says if they want to resell services like the stuff we talked about on Fiverr, can you only sell them for above $500? You can sell them for any price you want to. When you make an offer to the public or to business owners or to whomever that you're going to provide SEO services or you're going to create logos or whatever it is you're going to do for somebody, you set the price. So if your minimum fee you want to charge for your services is $500, then that's your starting price. You set the price, you make the deal, you collect the money. Let's see. David asked if I had a Shopify site, would I have multiple products in the same niche, or would you mix it up? Well, two things. Number one is you can make collections in a Shopify store, so you could have, if you named your Shopify store something generic, you could have sections that had cat toys and cat-related products, and then dog toys and dog-related products, but then had technology stuff or jewelry. You could kind of be more of a general store, which is what I'd suggest you kind of aim for initially. Since that we've only got to set up one store and you can test and run multiple products through it. But you wouldn't want to have people come in to buy a cat toy and then recommend, oh, you really like cat toys, so I think you'll like this hunting knife, right? I mean, it's you want to be congruent with where your customer comes in from. You guys are typing questions fast today, and I'm talking as fast as I can. How would this work for a higher ticket item like a memory foam mattress? You're talking about, like, could you drop ship that from China? I have no idea, because I'm not sure with mattresses if you could do it, because a mattress has, like, certain things like bedding have lots of rules and disclosures, and you got to have mattress tags. At least in the States, you've got to sell mattresses with a mattress tag with certain disclosures on it. So that I'm not positive on, Steve, because I've never actually tried that. Okay, Julian, Sharon's going to answer your question for you. Hey, Glenn, if you're looking for a website builder, it's really easy to find them. There's just a ton of them that you can buy, but depending upon what you're trying to build for a website, especially if you're trying to build something basic, you might find it easier to go onto Fiverr and just get a quote from somebody who will build what you want built. It might be more than $5 if you want several pages, but it's still going to be really, really cheap. Because the people that do this all day long, you look at building a website and you're like, wow, I'm going to have to learn all this stuff. And they look at like building a website as, oh, look, all I got to do is shove this stuff in a framework and a template that I already know how to create, and I do this all day long, and I'm done in like 2 hours. And 3 months from now, you'll still be trying to figure out how to use the builder and build the website instead of spending $25 or $50 and your whole website's done, and you can get on to the important parts like marketing and selling and making money. All right, good question. Somebody writes an article, somebody builds a website, somebody does whatever, and for you on Fiverr or wherever, who owns the copyrights or the intellectual property rights? You do. They are supplying a service or a product to you. You're paying them for that. Part of what you're paying them for is the fact that you're now the owner of that work. So they don't sell it to you and then go, oh, you used my article on your website, you have to come pay me more money. No, because you bought the article from them in the first place, or you bought the website in the first place, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, this is the 1-minute warning to post comments, and then we're going to give this away. AliExpress, is it open to the public or business only? It's open to everybody. But people don't, still, most people don't know that. They don't think to go there to shop. And when you're promoting these low-priced products, you're really promoting them. It's kind of an impulse buy. It's like when you walk into the store, right? I mean, how many of you have done this? You walked into the store to get one thing, and pretty soon you've got 5 things in the shopping cart, right? You didn't go looking for those things. You're just like, oh, this is cool. Oh, wow, look, this is like $10. I'm grabbing that, right? Same concept for a lot of this stuff that you can have. You're selling off AliExpress. It's people weren't looking for it, but there it is in front of them, and they're just like, oh, that's cool. I think I'll grab that. Boom. Really simple to do. All right. Anthony, the way is asking, how do you secure access to the site once you buy something and there's a third-party person that works on your site? Just change your hosting username and password, and then nobody else has access to it. That's really easy to do. You can just ask, if you're not sure, just ask your hosting company how to do that, and they'll tell you how to do it. All right. Okay, I think we got them all. At least all that I can answer quickly and easily. Okay, so let's see. We've got 70 comments here. Let's get them all opened up. And the magic of the internet. Okay, so we got 70 comments. We're going over here, 1 through 70, and hopefully this is a number close to one or the other. So it makes it easy for me, and the answer is 41, so I've got to count. How exciting. Okay. It's count along with Sean time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so Anthony's number 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. And Al Newton, you are number 41, assuming I counted correctly, and hopefully I did. So Al, unlike Brian, I'm going to assume that you look like yourself. So if you'll just shoot us your private message in the GoToWebinar window real quick with your email address, we'll shoot you $100 by PayPal. Congratulations. As always, I want to thank everybody for being members, being here, participating, taking action. If we've missed anything that you've got questions on that we didn't get a chance to answer, just shoot an email to support@webfire.com and we'll get right back to you. Thanks everybody for being part of this and participating. And Al, if you don't get your email address in the go to webinar window before I close it, Al is the winner right here, Al Newton. There you go. Then just shoot us an email with your PayPal address, and we know who you are, and we have this on video. And the recording will get posted up later today in the member area on WebFire, and we'll send out a link in the morning as well. So again, thank you everybody. Go out, take action, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.